Oh, I know the LDBC's mad on this one. Oh, I know all them white hitters are mad on this one. I am so glad I never said he was guilty. I am so glad that I said that people should give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm so glad that I never turned my back on Dillian Whyte. I'm so glad that I started making videos about him and saying that he must be good before this came out because he's having this fight. I'm so glad that I stuck with my boy through this. Right here, just got put up at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time an hour ago on his Twitter. And what this pretty much is a letter from the UCAD clearing him of everything. Let's look over here and read. It says, UK antidote, and let me move it to my view. And professional boxer Dillian Whyte can today jointly confirm that Mr. Whyte has charged with an anti-dope rule violation, ADRV, earlier this year. But this charge has now been withdrawn. Oh, it's so small, it's hard to read, y'all. It's very pixelated. The charge was brought after a sample provided by Mr. Whyte on 20 June 2019 indicating the presence of 2 metabolites of metabolites of the steroid. UCAD initiated an investigation with which Mr. Whyte cooperated fully. UCAD has accepted the explanation provided by Mr. Whyte, and in accordance with the UK anti-doping rules, the charge against Mr. Whyte has been withdrawn. This would ordinarily mean that UCAD will not make any public statements in accordance with the application confidentiality rules to which UCAD is subject. However, since certain confidential information relating to this matter, including the fact of the initial charge, has unfortunately made its way into public domain, UCAD and Mr. Whyte have agreed to take the unusual step of releasing the following limited information to put an end to the speculations concerning Mr. Whyte's status. Again, this is very small and pixelated, so I'm getting very close to my other screen to read it to y'all. Case details. In respect of Mr. Whyte's drug testing results, the following points are relevant. There is nothing in Mr. Whyte's I can't read what it says. Long something urinary profile to suggest urinary. It's got to be like I can't read the word, y'all. I'm sorry. This is very... Let me try to zoom it up some more. Nah, I can't. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't zoom in or else it's going to go over. Where was I? I think it's... I can't make out what the letters are. LONGTUDNAL. Longitudinal. I've got to be missing some vowels there. I'm not sure. Urinary profile to suggest that he has used steroids. The level of the metabolite found in Mr. Whyte's 20 June 2019 samples were extremely low. Mr. Whyte had provided a urine sample to VADA on 17 June 2019, i.e. 3 days before his 20 June 2019 sample, which was tested by a WADA, I think that's accredited laboratory, and which returned a negative result, including for the metabolites in question. Mr. Whyte provided several other doping control samples to UCAD and VADA between 20 June and 20 July 2019, i.e. the date of his fight with Oscar Rivas, all of which also tested negative. In light of the above points, the trace amounts of metabolites found in the 20 June 2019 sample are consistent with an isolated contamination event, and they are not suggestive of doping. So, contaminated, said it might be that. I can't read this. Shoot. Okay, here we go. Having rigorously scrutinized and investigated the detailed, factual, and I think that's scientific evidence provided by Mr. Whyte, UCAD is satisfied that the presence of the very low amounts of metabolite in his 20 June 2019 sample was not caused by any fault, negligence, or wrongdoing on Mr. Whyte's part, and given the circumstances, could not have affected the fight between Mr. Whyte and Mr. Rivas on 20 July 2019. Indeed, prior to that fight, an independent, I think it says tribunal. These eyes, I can't even see the eyes, it's so blurry. Tribunal considered a number of the above factors before deciding to permit Mr. Whyte to participate. Following that preliminary ruling, UCAD continued its investigation, and Mr. Whyte provided further evidence in his defense, which has culminated. Holy crap, I can't even read this. Culminated in UCAD's decision to withdraw the charge. Again, y'all, it is very small. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to read this. That's why I'm trying to read it to y'all. Charge. Mr. Whyte acknowledged that based on the test results reported to UCAD relating to his 20 June 2019 sample, UCAD acted in accordance with the UK anti-doping rules by issuing the initial charge and in the conduct of its investigation. Pursuant to the terms of the UK national anti-doping policies, UCAD must always act in the interest of justice and not solely for the purpose of obtaining determinations adverse to athletes. In the present case, UCAD considers that means that the appropriate course of action is for the charge against Mr. Whyte to be withdrawn, and does so in accordance with the relevant anti-doping rules. The British Boxing Board of Control have delegated responsibility for anti-doping matters to UCAD, has been informed of the resolution of these proceedings against Mr. Whyte. Note, oh gosh, it looks even smaller right here. Note, the UK anti-doping rules place restrictions on report information relating to ongoing anti-doping proceedings, include that UCAD will not comment publicly on the specified facts of a pending case except in response to public comments attributed to a charged athlete or his/her representative. For that reason, UCAD has not previously been able to comment publicly in respects of the charge brought against Mr. Whyte. Since the charge against Mr. Whyte has been withdrawn, neither UCAD nor Mr. Whyte intend to make any further public comments in respect of this matter in accordance with the confidentiality provisions of the UCAD anti-doping rules. Any public comments made by anyone other than UCAD or Mr. Whyte will not be made on the basis of an understanding of the full facts. Holy crap. I need glasses, y'all. After reading that, my eyes are almost tearing up. Like, I squinted so hard. I'm over here trying to read the other screen, trying to help y'all, because I don't want y'all to feel what my eyes just felt. But I'm so happy for you, Dillian Whyte. Now all that we need to do is Deontay Wilder to stop running from you. I know I've been giving Deontay Wilder a lot of props, but I still, to this day, think he's running from Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte is a monster, a beast, and I hope this 2-week fight notice doesn't put a bump in his road by him losing to Walk. I really don't want to see him lose to Marius. So we're going to see what happens. 2 weeks isn't a lot of time to train. It shows in his weight. Hopefully he'll be able to have the endurance to last to the end of the fight. But to all the LDBCs and to all the commenters that have trolled me on my page talking about, aren't you the same channel that stood up for Dillian Whyte? Aren't you the same one that stood up for a drug cheat? See, this is the thing. Sometimes people like me who say a fighter is good, we get flack for supporting that fighter. I was getting flack for supporting the spider. Even in other stuff that I type in forums, getting a lot of flack for it. And I find this great. See, people like to jump bandwagon so fast. And I not once said he was guilty. And I not once said he was innocent. I said, let the facts come out. And now they're out and he is free. Nothing was wrong. Tainted, meaning he didn't do a drug. Ha! Now let's get that mandatory slot back and let him fight Wilder before 2021. That's all I got to say. Thank y'all for watching.